main dish would be. Is what the president has to say, and how that borders around some important subjects that I would be waiting to hear him speak on. Certainly, the president may give us a rundown of how far we have come as a country. He gave Sona not too long ago, so I'm not too sure he's going to repeat some of those things. However, I expect some forecast as to what is going to happen. Now, about the speaker's absence, I think maybe it's not for me to really check. It's something we can take on. It's not because in the past they didn't use that's in it and how it borders for our country.
Right.
I want to hear things. Let me not preempt myself. So if he doesn't say them, then I'll come. I'll come on them. But
okay.
This one. If he doesn't say them, then I'll come. I'll come on them. But
okay.
This one I can't predict what he'll say. Yeah.
All right. So we are economic conversation. Before we cross over to Rebecca.
Represent Zed there, and I think for a brief moment I saw the president shake, and it was a lengthy one, I must say, and they were having a conversation that was heartwarming to know that there's that peace and unity, even though they are also noticed that the vice president is also representing life. Noticed that the vice president is also representing life, and she's healthy. That's for me is good news. So I'm liking the atmosphere. I'm liking the atmosphere with all the prayers going on and everything. So yeah, that's my take on and everything. So yeah, that's my take.
So okay, each other and all of that, and so it is something very important. Now let me come back to Emmanuel. Now Emmanuel, you were talking about our independence, our economic independence, really. We're saying that Ghana, economically, we don't seem to be independent. What would economic independence look like in reality?
Thank you. Economic independence does not mean that we are not interdependent. That is not what it means. Interdependent. That is not what it means. But that's not what it means. But that at least we have control. At least we have control over some basic things that we are able to be able to do a lot of the things he wants to do. Look at our exposure to global economic factors and uncertainties. Why should it be so? I'm sure that the war in Russia and Ukraine, perhaps exposure was very excessive relative to some even neighboring countries. Cote d'Ivoire is not too far from here. I'm sure if we want to go, we can get there, but you take the lead. I'll come next week. I'll come next week. But why were we affected? But why were we affected more than they were? Nigeria Nigeria is just like our twin independence. Not in terms of everything. Why is it only independence? Not in terms of everything. Why is it only independence?
Anyway, you go ahead.
Burdening the faithful few. So there are just a few people who pay taxes, like you and I. I am not including every other person in here. It's just wait, I should include you. Okay, like those of us here, just a few people pay taxes.
Yeah,
and anytime there are policies, the burden is always on those who are faithful and have been paid. A lot more people are not within the of expenditure, efficiency in spending. I still think we've not done well in that area. Because sometimes you look at something that has been, let me not say something. You look at an edifice there, let me not say something. You look at an edifice there, the difference. It's still the Georgesburg economy we are running. We still export cocoa beans in Eritrea State. We still export gold in it.
An economist, so he's on the ground and he knows what he's talking about. But let's not far.
Yeah, we have.
You realize that. And even the theme, building prosperity and restoring hope.
Yeah.
When I saw the theme, I was like, wow, then it means that a lot of us have lost hope. So it means that they want to restore hope.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Canada, the UK, all the countries. You see, when you
give you my the reason why I'm saying this, Ghana started off together with Singapore, Malaysia, South Korea. These were our peers. In fact, I think in
what was the state of their country? It's not about the when we all had independence.
No, it's not independence. No. So let me land. I've not said what.
Go on.
We had a higher GDP than they did. In fact, worse off than where we were. Did you know where our currency used to be the pounds sterling?
Yeah, of course, I know.
Data. In 1960, the GDP per capita for Ghana was $180 to $200. GDP per capita, so GDP divided by the total population. South Korea, 150. So pay attention. South Korea was lower than Ghana. My point is how resourced we were, what kind of economic strength we had. Now, there's one thing I'll do in a particular area.
Fugu. Don't you know Ghana for fugu? We're not Ghana for fugu. Yes, so it is one of the things.
I mean,
we know Ghana for fugu. We know Ghana for fugu.
I don't have a problem with that. What is the economic value of fugu to Ghana?
I should be asking you.
No, you gave me some. You see, I mentioned somebody is high in tech. Somebody is high in this. And how much it is what you can earn. That is even a work in progress, something we just started. The things that have been there, what you can earn. That is even a work in progress, something we just started. The things that have been there, the British saw it when they came here. The Portuguese saw it when they came here. In fact, the Europeans saw it when they came here. It is still where it is. Cocoa beans, cocoa pots, they are still there. Gold bars, they are still the way they are. And to South, that's what I'm saying. The situation is even worse off because we have not truly understood our identity as a Ghanaian people and how far we have to go. We've not drawn that scale. And I'm saying that we are always following what other people are doing without asking ourselves first, who are we? We are not just a Ghanaian people. In the past, when I was young, our teachers used to say we are the black star of. When I was relatively young,
we are the star of Africa.
Are you sure? No, are you sure?
It's just a matter of time.
No, I'm asking, are you sure of that?
See, if you know what is ahead of us,
what is ahead?
You won't be worried about what is in the past. Anyway, thank you very much. Let me pick your final thoughts. We're going to come back after President Mahama's speech, and we have some more conversations. We'll talk more about the celebration, maybe expectations for President Mahama's speech, and then I can cross over. I have a historian who's going to take us back to where we really were and how far we have come. We'll mention some of the people that we need to remember today, and we'll talk to him very shortly.
Right.
So in 30 seconds.
Yes. So we are all expecting that the president will touch on. Right.
So in 30 seconds.
Yes. So we are all expecting that the president what the country is facing right now, our energy sector, our education, in fact, all the sectors, the Middle East crisis and all that, anything affecting Ghanaian, so that the youth growing up will know that, okay, this is the essence of independence. It should bring us hope indeed, if it is building prosperity and then restoring hope. With that, our hopes are lost, like Emmanuel Boateng's hope that is lost, like this. The speech will resonate his hope again. This is what I'm expecting from the president.
Okay. All right. So, Emmanuel, I'll come to you last. I don't want to respond. I don't want to respond to him. So let me hear from you. 30 seconds, and then
for me, I know one thing I always tell people that we have a president who's a very good communicator. I always say this in the newsroom. So if we are just going to look at what he's going to say, believe me, we will see that Ghana will be the Ghana I want to see even by tomorrow. But then I just hope that he touches on, especially, I know that the falling cocoa prices is a global thing going on, but he, just like Emmanuel said, we just had the State of the Nation's address a week ago. So we're just hoping, what is he really going to talk about today? That is it.
So you're looking forward to
that? Yes, that's why I said earlier on that I am anticipating that he's going to talk about you get.
Okay, so Emmanuel was saying that we're not leading. Okay, so Emmanuel was saying that we're not leading in anything, or at least in his perspective, or according to what he believes. But I mean, since 1992, I know that Ghana has conducted 9, peaceful elections here.
So we're leading in that.
And we're leading in that, especially in this region where we are hearing of coup d'etats and these wars going all over the world. Ghana is a peaceful country, and I think that is something to be proud of, and. I think I have something here. It says we've been consistently ranked among, Africa's top to add more value to our youth, because from what we know, Ghana is about 60%, youth. We can build our youth in terms of digitalization, how we can add value to their skills
and harness them for the transformation of our country.
I agree. When I was speaking in terms of economic abilities, not political stability. I think that we excel at that in this. I mean, of course, there are others. Some others have done 80 peaceful elections and so on and so forth. Yeah, in the global front. But in terms of our region, Africa, I think that I will not say we are leading because I don't have the facts for every other place, but this is what I want to say. I've not lost hope. I've not lost hope in Ghana. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. I would have left. Okay. The point is that Singapore and South Korea transitioned from poverty to global powerhouses, and they place priority on certain things: infrastructure, industrialization, high-tech education. At a certain point in Singapore, they had 100% literacy rate.
Right.
And I think we are making some efforts in there. But I think our efforts have been tied to raw materials, raw commodities, and political cycles. And anytime political parties or we change administrations, there is some sort of a dead end with certain policies that do not see the light of day again. They don't show up again. And it has to take that political party to come back into power after at least 8 years to come and continue on that. And I think that has hurt us so much. We must move away from being a resource-dependent country. We have the resources already there. Let's think about
a senior reporter right here at Z101.9 FM. And also, Presbyterian Rosemont Labi is also a senior reporter. And Jeremy Okoria Mwako, she is the host of The Brighter Side right here on Z101.9 FM. We're going to go and speak to a historian shortly. We'll take some quick music break, and then when we return, we get into that conversation with our historian and wrap up independence. Doc, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, I hope you're doing well, sir.
By God's grace, I'm fine. I hope you are good too.
Yeah, I'm doing well too, by God's grace. Happy Independence Day to you.
Yeah.
Period before independence. What was life like in the Gold Coast under colonial rule?
Yeah. Thank you very much. I don't know whether I'm qualified to be called a historian. Yeah, I'm a governance expert. I have a fair idea of the history of this country. I think that what it is that pre-independence, we had our colonial masters ruling us. And because they were the ones ruling us, every policy that they made sure was in place was something that was going to benefit them here in Ghana and, in fact, benefit their countries where they came from. So you realize that some of them were very strategic in terms of their colonialization. Some of them were actually interested. Some of them were interested in our mineral resources, and you see how they position their forts and their castles always closer to the sea. Because during the time, even if those who are engaged in slave trade, resources to the coast for obvious reasons, to make sure that transportation is easy. Because some of the activities they were engaged in were not activities that I would like to say that were wholly accepted by the people. And I say the people, Ghanaians at the time. So some of their actions are supposed to be unacceptable, or if you want to call it criminal, are not even done during the day. It is in the night that you go into the danger independence some way, somehow. But obviously, because independence was not an event, they needed to kickstart a certain process. So that's about some of the of our veterans. It is about a certain awakening. Yes, Kwame Nkrumah was brought into the picture through the UGCC. He did what he had to do. Not long, he also formed his own political party and was the one in the forefront to ensure that Ghana got independence. What brought about the, if I'll call it, misunderstanding between Kwame Nkrumah, the CP, and the UGCC, for which Kwame Nkrumah left, was the fact that Kwame Nkrumah believed that independence could be gotten now. Yet the UGCC, the JB Danquas, believed that in the nearest possible 20 years.
Yeah.
So because of that, the aggressive nature of Nkrumah did not allow him to continue to be with the UGCC, who thought that it has to be a certain long process, which he did not believe in, to go in. And Kwame Nkrumah did not also get it easy. At the point he was arrested and all that. So once he led it and we were able to get independent, then that was when the country was officially born 69 years ago today. Before later we became a republic. So a lot of actions are taking place from smaller groups and individuals. Some of our chiefs also fought and other things. But the fighting were done sometimes piecemeal. So we didn't see the effort per se. But Kwame Nkrumah being the one coming into the forefront and taking on the charge made other people to also support it. And today we have the Ghana we all call our country.
Right.
Celebrating it.
Now, many people actually know the name Kwame Nkrumah, but they may not really know the full story. What actually made him such a powerful figure in the independence struggle?
Oh, what it is that Kwame Nkrumah was actually out of the country, having his education. So already he was enlightened before he came to Ghana. So with that knowledge and seeing how even the colonial masters were doing their things, even back in their respective countries, gave him a certain level of boldness. And that is the reason why he thought that independence must be now, not in the foreseeable future. So clearly, he had prepared himself, because don't forget that the UGCC brought him and he was supposed to be their secretary. They were working before he opted out. So clearly, he because he is or was a visionary at the time, he was able to see things that other people who were also in the struggle could not see. And the reason why he took the risk that he took, and he was successful. The reason why today you and me are saying that he's the father of the nation. And that's why I said earlier on that other people were also involved in the struggle. If you realize, when he was even proclaiming the independence, he had other compatriots who were with him, who were in the leadership of the CPP. And at a point, clearly, the Ghanaians at the time actually wanted the independence. So the UGCC, they played their role, the CPP played their role. But what happened was that Kwame Nkrumah was the one who for this particular country. So the TUC and other civil society organizations were involved, but the fight was being done method manner until he took the bull by the and politically was to bring Ghana to the state in which it is today.
I think that there are so many other people who also played several roles. Maybe can you mention some of the people that we don't know of? I know of JB Dankwa, I know of Edward Akufo-Addo, and some of those people. Can you mention some of the names that we do not know and their role that they played?
Going on, we have the Fanti Confederacy and all this. We had the Ghana people also trying to fight. So they were in fragmented manner. So these are not people who necessarily came to the fore and the media captured them for us to be calling heroes. But what it is that if you even look at the UGCC, the role that of them played, the ones that made up the leadership of the UGCC are the ones that everyone knows. But the UGCC was supposed to be a political party. Once they were a political party, they had their representatives across the regions, then in the country, were also involved in the fight. But we do not get to see or hear anything that is done. At the end of the day, is the leader who led it is the one whose name is mentioned. So the UGCC played a prominent role, which we know, and even Kwame Nkrumah's CPP. There are other people, veterans were shot dead, Corporal Atipu and all those people. It's because they died. Their death also brought a certain level of agitation, and others took it up. So if you want to mention names now, you end up leaving some people out, and it will be as if you are not part of the struggle. So that is why every now and then it is the leadership that is attributed to ensure that Ghana gained independence.
What sacrifices did ordinary Ghanaians make during the independence struggle?
Oh, you see that there were a lot of demonstrations that happened. Even when Kwame Nkrumah was arrested, he even had to win an election whilst he was still in custody or in prison. So that should tell you the commitment of the generality of Ghanaians in support of it. So clearly, for you today, colonial powers then, that yes, we support what this person, Kwame Nkrumah, is doing. So whether he has been arrested or not, he is the person we want him to be our prime minister or leader. So clearly, that was a very powerful statement Ghanaians made to ensure that they sent a certain positive and a very strong signal to the colonial masters to know that they are strongly behind their leader or their leadership, and that is the reason why he could not be kept that long.
But apart from the demonstrations and the political contributions of the ordinary people, are there any economic ones you may want to, you know of?
Oh, you see, you were fighting for independence, and the economic activities and other things were being controlled by our colonial masters. So our cocoa, our gold, and everything, they were the ones controlling it. So of course, Ghanaians they were also doing businesses so they could survive and also improve livelihoods and all that. But at the time, economic emancipation was not the key factor for the independence. The key factor for the independence was the political emancipation, where we will take charge of the country and run the country ourselves, and we'll get a chance to elect our leaders. And this was the focus. So at the time, it was not about economic emancipation.
So the focus was, let's just get our independence, and then we can look at any other thing later.
Let's get the independence. Because if you have the independence, that's when you are free to take decisions to bind you yourself, and that will also benefit you yourself. But at the time, those who were leading us, we didn't have the chance to vote for them or elect them. They were imposed on us, and everything that they did was for their benefit and not necessarily for the benefit of the ordinary Ghanaian. It is the reason why we said no, we needed to fight and get our own independence so that politically we'll be able to elect our own leaders and we'll take our destiny into our own hands. And once that is done, seek ye first the political kingdom and all other things that be added.
Yeah.
And that was the focus at the time. Once we are in charge, now our as we speak today, we are in charge of our own mineral resources. We are in charge of every resources that this country has. And we are the country that is going to the world market to trade with it and all that. We did not have those powers during the time that Ghana was being colonized.
I see. All right. Well, exactly 10 o'clock. This is the business. This is the special Independence Day. He is Dr. Richard Fiadomo, and he joins us for a conversation on the history of this country. And he's speaking a lot about some of the things. But if you want to join the conversation, feel free to send us a WhatsApp on 0544321019, 0544321019, or you can also drop a comment on our live stream. We are on Facebook at ZFMGH on Facebook, and on YouTube at Z Multimedia. We're streaming live on those platforms, and so you can join the conversation through by dropping a comment there. All right, Doc, let's continue the conversation. Now, you've spoken about some of the people generally, but I want us to mention some specifics. I don't know if that is possible with you. I know of one, Hannah Kujo. I'm not too sure if you know anything.
It's a struggle. They left the scene, others took over. And that is why, if you want to mention specific names, then it will be people who came to the limelight. People whose struggles brought them to the fore. It is easy for us to mention Corporal Tipu because he was killed, and his death actually brought about a certain uprising and a certain awareness among Ghanaians to now take the fight for independence seriously. So that is why if you go to the north, because Ghana is a unitary state, and at that time it was still unitary. So the struggle was not just here in Accra. It was in the regions, and they were all doing everything possible to ensure that they get independence. And that's why I started earlier. I stated that when the UGCC came, they formed the political party. They have structures in the other regions. So once they started the fight, those within the other regions were also contributing their quota. But in terms of the history, those ones were not documented. But those that were adequately documented was when the leadership, for example, the UGCC, their leadership, and then the CPP, their leadership. Of course, you see that the chiefs also were involved in the battle. But because it was not a battle that was being waged using arms, where you see that people are in the forefront fighting, these are all things that were cooked indoors before one day it exploded also. And that is the reason why you see that the very day Kwame Nkrumah declared Independence Day, you realize that a whole Accra actually came to a standstill. And that is supposed to inform you that everybody did it, and everybody's role that he or she played is what has culminated in the Independence Day being declared. It was something that was across the country. But because the declaration was done in Accra, the focus was in Accra. And so clearly a lot of people played roles, but the prominent ones are the ones you and I know that we have been mentioning over the years.
Right.
But it is not a struggle that we say even started. Because if you look at Kwame Nkrumah, who today we call the father of the nation, you will see that he was even brought to be part of a system, the UGCC, and at a point he left the UGCC and formed the CPP before he was. So, yes, he played a major role, but what we should not be seen to be doing is to create the impression as if he is the only person,
the only one who worked for it.
Gave us independence. But he was the leader at the time, and normally in our space, if things go well, the leader takes the credit or the praise. If things don't go well, the leader also takes the criticism. So it is that principle we are using, was started long before he even came to join the UGC.
I see. Okay. Let's talk about one of the major things that people talk about a lot of times. They say that
we were not governing ourselves. Our colonial masters were governing us. And to that, it was because at the time the currency that was being used at the time was not the cedi.
Okay.
It was the pound. So that pound sterling, obviously, it was also going to be strong. Then fast forward, we got independence, and then we started using our own currency. The problem is not because we got independence so early. I think that at a point, we ourselves became very indisciplined, and we have political parties or government coming into the space. They will not use the resources we wanted for the independence. So if it had not come at that time, anything. But the fact of the matter is that the people at the time wanted independence, and they did everything possible to fight for that independence. And I think that, yes, we may say that some of the political leaders may not have served as well. That should not be equated to mean that independence came too early. Can be a reset as you have been told in recent times. And I believe if we are focused and there is good leadership, I think that we'll be able to achieve our aim as Ghanaians and see the kind of development that we want to see.
Okay, let's still go back to independence. Now, what were some of the biggest challenges that we faced immediately after independence?
Oh, it is natural because you were not in charge of affairs, and now immediately you have taken over. Don't forget that once you ask the colonial master to leave, all the institutions they were running, the personnel and other things, will have to leave. And don't also forget some of the areas we did not have the expertise readily to occupy those positions and get things running. So obviously we needed some time to get to the stage which you have gotten to now. Today, as we speak, I don't see any sector that you say a Ghanaian cannot man and you have to need an expatriate or, if you like, colonial masters to come and do this. So it is natural that we use force. The colonial masters did not live on their own. They did not get up to give us a timeline to hand over.
The Torah is used for entertainment and education.
Yes. that forced them to hand over the country to us. So us to navigate the waters and get to a certain stage. They will leave, and once they were leaving, they left with everything that they were using in this country. So it is the reason why there were going to be some challenges and other things. But over time, we are aware we have overcome them. The only problem we are having now is corruption that is not allowing our resources to be used in a very prudent manner. Apart from that, yes, those challenges came, but it was easy for us to overcome them.
See, but challenges with regards to aid and all of those things, those ones we didn't navigate them very well.
You see, the problem is the military interventions that came to disrupt our democratic process. So you see, Kwame Nkrumah was working as president, things were going on, he was putting in place infrastructure and other things before the coup came. And once that coup happened, it is from people who were not elected by the people. So at the end of the day, their allegiance is not to the people, their allegiance is to the guns that they hold, that is supposed to be protecting them. So a lot of the things that Kwame Nkrumah did or was doing that he could not complete had to be brought to a standstill because those people did not have the very vision Kwame Nkrumah had at the time. So yes, the military interventions cost this nation a great deal, and it sent us back hundreds of years because once they come in, they try to shut down all the democratic institutions just to allow them to have a free will, a free way to govern. So Parliament becomes the very first casualty. Meanwhile, the Parliament is a place for the representatives of the, and you want to do whatever you want to do. So yes, those also created a problem. But when it comes to the democratic space and the political parties, as to who they choose to lead, is an internal process that they themselves have to undergo. And when they finish their selection, then they will bring it to the generality of Ghanaians, and we decide which one we should go for. So in terms of the leadership, the rude interruptions by military rulers that actually set this country back.
And that actually cost us. And so my colleagues and I were discussing the progress we've made so far, and I'm going to come to that shortly. But and I was telling them that I don't know whether you were following the conversation at the time, but they were talking about how we came into. I mean, we all started we all started together. I mean, in terms of Ghana, Singapore, Malaysia, and some of the other countries, and that. But I don't think the same challenges they faced were the same challenge we faced, and vice versa. And so those are not things that we can. I don't know what your comments are on that.
Yeah, I think I followed that part of the argument. The fact of the matter is that the challenges that Singapore and other Korea that were being mentioned is also a certain level of consistency in leadership. And that is why the overthrow of Kwame Nkrumah was a major setback for this country. If you go to Singapore, you go to South Korea, when they get leaders, the leaders stay for a very long time. When you go to Singapore, they even had a one-party state at the time, Lee Kuan Yew. So he was able to do a lot of development. But when the military came, they had the best opportunity to have developed this country because they were not going to face opposition from the so-called all of us, and it was also about their selfish interests and not the fact that they wanted to develop this country. So the root military interventions are some of the things that set this country back, especially the overthrow of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. That has been the bane of this country up until date because the vision that he carried, the kinds of things that he did, and even went beyond Ghana and wanted to unite Africa and all that, clearly that's what today everybody wants to go to the U.S., but the U.S. is the United States of America. And that's the same vision Kwame Nkrumah had, to have an United States of Africa. But yet, some colonial masters realized that was not to serve their interest. So they have to use the CIA and other people to overthrow. So yes, agree. Singapore and other, apart from the fact that they have put in place systems to make sure that their country is working. So it is not too much about who is leading the country, but it's about the system. It was what informed Barack Obama, the former president of the USA, when he came to Ghana and advised us that we should build strong institutions and not strong men. But as we speak, politicians normally want to be episodic. They want to be personality driven. It is me. My name should be mentioned. Instead of allowing institutions to work, they want everything to be centered around them. And once you want things to be centered around you and you are not there, then there's no clear-cut vision to follow. And once you are not there, then we'll come back to ground zero. It is the reason why anytime there is change in government in recent times, we set the country also back again. Because like some of your panelists said or your colleagues said, a situation whereby a good project or program is going on, the government ends, and because they did not initiate it, they abandon it, and it has to take an 8-year cycle before that same government will get the opportunity to come back and come and continue. Now, a typical example are the E-block schools. Now, NDC started, NPP did not touch them. 8 years being in the bush, I'm sure by now they have structural integrity. Now it will now cost the NDC government more money to complete that particular project. So we are dissipating our resources in a very reckless and irresponsible manner. The reason why we cannot be the same space as the Singapore and the South Korea that were mentioned. So clearly, those are some of the things. But once we say we want the democratic system is working. But the action and the activities of some of our governments when they take over does not bode well for this country. It does not engender development. And at the end of the day, they all want to start something new. If there's a program that is supposed to be continued, they will go and rehash the same program, give it a different name so that it will be that it was the NPP that did it, it's the NDC that did it. But I always tell myself, nobody pays taxes to the NPP. Nobody pays taxes to the NDC. We only pay taxes to the government of the day. So if it is NDC, so be it. If it's MPP, so be it. So why is it that even our taxes are being politicized by the political elite? So this is where we should call our political elite to order, for them to understand that, yes, they campaign on a political manifesto, but when they take over the reins of government of this country, it is about the people and not about any sectional interest that they are supposed to serve. And that is one of the reasons why we are not progressing as fast as Singapore and South Korea has done.
I see. Right. Now, so how would you assess the journey from independence till date? I mean, compared with the hopes of the people who were part of the struggle for independence.
I think that 69 years where we are now, I don't think we have done well as a country. And also, so the reason why we are not where we are supposed to be is also about some of the rude interaction by the military. When we employ you, say that go and protect our external borders, our territories, do you think that though you can decide what you want to do because we have bought guns for you and we are paying for it? So those ones have set our country back. No two ways about that. The democratic space too has not grown the way it has to grow, because we see excessive partisanship, we see unbridled political interference even within state institutions, the military, the police, and the institutions that are supposed to be neutral, electoral commission. You see how president can come and say, I don't want this electoral commission. They get people to make allegations and the electoral commission is removed. So clearly, these are the things that are also not allowing us to be able to see ourselves as Ghanaians. Now we see ourselves more of NDC because NDC is in power. When MPP is in power, we see ourselves. So sometimes Ghanaians have to even pretend to be NDC members before they can get fever. They have to pretend to be MPP members when MPP is in government to get fever. Access to the same government. So for me, I think that 69 years we've not done well. If I have to score, I will give all of us 60% because all of us have not done what we have to do. Our leaders are a mirror expression of we, the citizens. If we see what we see today, it is because the citizens have allowed it. The reason why. So, it's a country 69 years on, I will take score fast. 60%. Okay.
I didn't hear the percentage.
60.
60%. Yeah. I see. So what are some of the specific things that you would want to mention or highlight that are the biggest achievements for this country since 1957?
Oh, of course, 1957. Well, if it's highlight domestically, I can be quick to mention, but highlight internationally, I think is zero. I heard one of your panelists talk about Fugu. It's a recent matter, and I do not even think that it's even up to 2 months old. But the fact of the matter is that I think Ghana has done well. At a point, our Black Stars were doing very well, and they were giving us some international leverage or image. But now, we can't tell exactly what is happening to the Black Stars. We pray that come the June World Cup, they will make us proud. But, of course, our democracy, I think we've also, even though there were rude interruptions by some military leaders, over the period, our democracy has been stable, and some countries see us speaking of democracy when they consider the space in which they are. For example, if you see what is happening in Cameroon and what is happening in Ghana, then you see that Ghana is far, far better than Cameroon in terms of our democratic dispensation. Those ones are there. If what we are seeing in recent times coming from his John in Mahama, if it is going to sustain, because the economy is key. If the economy is doing well, it will have a boomerang effect on everybody. Those who want to do private business, the banks will give a low lending rate. It will have a positive effect on all of us. Because if the economy is not doing well, that's a negative effect on us. So, yes, if what we are seeing in terms of the economic trajectory into the future. And I also think that if what we are still seeing in terms of the fiscal prudence and in terms of management of the economy, in terms of how our resources are being used now, if something that is going to because very soon, as we are told, inflation is 3.3. If it comes down tomorrow, the rating agencies and other things will use it to rank Ghana in a certain light, and it will get people to come and investors to come and do business in Ghana. So for me, I think that the economy is key, and of course, the security of this country is also a non-negotiable issue. And I believe on that score too, our security agencies are doing well.
I see, right? But the economy, as you talk about, is more of for this particular government. I want us to look at it generally. Our biggest achievements, right from independence.
I started saying that when it comes to 1957, I mentioned is why are we voting for our government? If it's MPP that is in office today and what we are seeing now, we'll talk about it. The problem we have in this country is also because we have been brainwashed to either be NDC or MPP.
That's
so
true.
If something is going on in the MPP and you talk, they say you are NDC. If something is going on in NDC, they say you are MPP. And that is what the politicians have taken advantage of, and we are where we are. So we'll be addressing the country as the threat of politics. It's because whether we like it or not, they are the ones Ghanaians voted for on December 7th.
Well, I agree. my only, I mean, I'm not asking for politics or any the entire journey, so that it doesn't relate to just what is happening now, but what has happened in the past. And it's not about NDC or NPP. We've had several people, I mean, leading this country way before, you know. But okay, let's move away from that anyway. So maybe as we try to wrap up, what lessons from the independence struggle do you think our leaders today or young people today should learn?
You see, many of us were not around when the independence happened. Now, those who are present today, I want to fight for 10% of the total population. So, those of us who are not present in the we are not treating what happened in the political emancipation, and that is why I said that the economy is we want to bring down unemployment rate. We want to be able to get our youth to be getting in gainful employment, not necessarily from the government, but from their own private initiatives. We should be able to make sure that our educational system is producing employable students who can easily be taken on board when they graduate. So clearly, the political emancipation that was our life to witness it, but came to read about it, also means that today, what is the priority of the youth? The priority of the youth for sure will not be what happened 69 years ago. The priority of the youth is what happened now. Now, we need social emancipation. We need economic emancipation.
We need economic emancipation.
Because and that was why I was heavy on the economy, and I was talking about it.
Right.
It just so happens that it's John Mahama who is in office.
Yeah. All right, thank you very much, Dr. Richard Fiadomo. As you observe there in the Dr. Richard Fiadomo, he is a historian, and also the Dr. Richard Fiadomo, he is a historian, and also the president of the local government. We're going to share a few thoughts on exactly some of the things that we should do as a country. But we'll take a quick news break. When we return, we get into that right here on the Business Breakfast on Zed. On a special Independence Day coverage and celebration right here on Zed 101.9 FM. Jubilee House, where the National Independence Day celebration is taking place. The president has mounted a podium and he's delivering a speech now. So we'll do that, and then when we come back, we'll talk with Emmanuel Boateng. Please stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
Vice President Jane Nana Opokwa Ajimai, the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, the Lordship Chief Justice Paul Bafuboni, Your Excellencies, former Presidents John Ajekum Kufuor and Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the Chief of Staff and senior government officials, honorable ministers and deputy ministers, Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Name, Nime, officers and men of the Ghana Armed Forces, our school children and youth of Ghana, my fellow citizens. On this sacred day, the 6th of March, we gather once again to commemorate the freedom that our forebears won for us 69 years ago. We stand here not just as witnesses to history, but as guardians of a legacy and architects of our shared destiny that are united under the red for our courage, the gold for our wealth, the green for our forests, and the black star that shines as a beacon of hope for Africa and the diaspora. Today, as we mark our 69th independence anniversary, we do so under the theme, Building Prosperity, Inspiring Hope. This theme is more than just ceremonial. It represents a covenant between the government, promise of Parliament to deliver the State of the Nation, address. I spoke honestly about our challenges and confidently about the future and the progress we are making. But today, I speak not only to our Parliament, but to every Ghanaian, the farmer in the northern savannah, the trader in the Makola markets, the teachers in our classrooms, the nurses in our hospitals and clinics, the young entrepreneur with a smartphone in his hand, and every is our story. This is our moment. This is our story. This is our moment. We cannot speak of Ghana's present without paying homage to our past. 69 years ago, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah proclaimed to the world that at long last, the battle is ended, and that Ghana are beloved. He also added that the independence of Ghana is meaningless unless it is linked up with the total liberation of the African continent. Nkrumah did not only grant us independence, he awakened within us a sense of consciousness and a continental purpose. Startless and unsung heroes and patriots, they sparked a movement that altered the course of African history. This country after him. All of them have been a part of our history and have brought us to, from Dr. Kofi Abrifabuzia to J.A. Ankara, Akwesi Afrifa, Ike Achampong, General Akufo, Jerry John Rawlings, John Ajifum Kufuor, compete without destroying. This here today carries great significance for us. Your visits and our bilateral engagements represent more than just brothers and sisters in the Caribbean, branches of the same ancestral tree. The dungeons of the Cape Coast and Elmina castles remind us of the dark chapters of history when millions of Africans were forcibly transported across the Middle Passage to the so-called New World. Yet from that tragedy arose the remarkable resilience of the world. Today, Ghana is working with partners across Africa and the diaspora to seek historical justice. Later this month, Ghana will submit a motion to the United Nations declaring slavery and the transatlantic slave trade the gravest crime against humanity. This motion will represent the justice and restitution that is long overdue. And Ghana, the first sub-Saharan African nation to gain independence, will once again lead the global call for dignity and restoration. My fellow citizens, when I took office, you granted me a clear mandate to reset our nation, Ghana. Resetting Ghana goes beyond simply managing our issues. It involves transforming how we govern, how we produce, and how we share the fruits of our prosperity. Over the past year, we've taken decisive steps to stabilize our economy, restore investor confidence, and rebuild fiscal discipline in how we manage our resources. Inflation is... We've renegotiated our debts to obtain more sustainable terms for our people, and we've redirected valuable national resources towards healthcare, education, agriculture, and employment creation. But resetting Ghana goes beyond just the numbers. It involves resetting our values, our expectations, and the social contract that exists between leaders and citizens. Leadership must be accountable. Corruption is a cancer that erodes the very foundation of our nation. Every cedi that is stolen from the public purse represents a classroom that is robbed of textbooks. It represents a hospital that will go without medicines. It represents a road that will be left uncompleted. And it represents a young graduate that will be denied opportunity. Under my leadership, we're not just fighting corruption with words alone. We're strengthening institutions, protecting anti-corruption agents, regardless of their status or party, is above the law. But government cannot win this battle alone. Where honesty is valued and public service is regarded as a sacred, independence granted us freedom, public resources, discipline in adhering to the law, discipline in how we treat one another in public life. Patriotism should extend beyond just slogans. True patriotism must be shown through our everyday actions. The citizen who protects and the entrepreneur who opts to invest his resources in Ghana's future. Above all, we must place country above party, above tribe, and above personal interest. Citizens, Ghana is bigger than any one of us. To the young people of this country, I see you, I hear you, and I believe in your potential. You belong to a generation that is armed with tools and opportunities that earlier generations could hardly have imagined. In your hands, a smartphone transforms into a classroom. In your hands, a business platform, a smartphone transforms into a business platform. In your hands, a smartphone transforms into a creative studio. Your frustrations. And that is why government is investing in digital infrastructure, entrepreneurship programs, and innovation hubs across the country, from Accra to Kumasi to Tamale, Takrady, Ho, and Koforidua. We're reforming education to meet the needs of the modern economy and expanding internship and apprenticeship programs to bridge the gap between school. And let me give you sound advice. The future belongs to those who prepare for it. Permit me to congratulate the 52 outstanding students who received the President's Independence Day Award for school children earlier this week. I also commend Keta Secondary Technical School for winning the 69th Independence Day quiz competition. And I extend my congratulations to the winners of this year's National Debates Competition, Promise of Ghana's Future. My fellow countrymen and women, I'm pleased to announce that I have assented to the 24-Hour Economy Authority Bill, and it has now become law. This historic reform will boost Ghana's productivity. Businesses will be incentivized to run across multiple shifts. Industries will operate around the clock, and services will become more accessible to citizens. 1,000 new jobs will be generated across various sectors, ranging from manufacturing and logistics to security and transportation. This initiative will enable us to optimize the use of our national infrastructure and establish Ghana as a competitive industrial hub. And this is how we will create prosperity. I'm also pleased to announce that we're in the final stages of setting up the Women's Development Bank. This work has been under the leadership of our hard-working Vice President, Jane Nana Opoku Agyeman. Our women entrepreneurs have historically been the backbone of Ghana's informal economy, and yet too many of them face barriers to affordable credit. This Women's Development Bank will provide accessible financing, mentorship, and business support that is tailored to women-led enterprises. When women succeed, families thrive, and nations prosper. Women of Ghana, we are committed to investing so that you realize your full potential. Ghana's destiny is inseparable from Africa's destiny. Today, Africa is home to over 1.4 billion people and possesses the youngest workforce in the world. The African Continental Free Trade Area, which is based here in Accra, is one of the most ambitious economic integration projects in the history of the world. A unified market for African goods and services, a platform for African innovation, a foundation for Africa's economic sovereignty. Ghana will continue to lead by example, demonstrating that democracy, economic reform, and African unity can succeed together. As we approach the milestone of Ghana's 70th anniversary next year, let us reaffirm our national vision. A vision of a Ghana where no child will go to bed hungry. And a Ghana where education is accessible and empowering, a Ghana where healthcare is affordable and accessible, a Ghana with world-class infrastructure, a Ghana that produces what it consumes, a Ghana where merit and not connections decides opportunity, a Ghana that is digitally connected from Aflao to Hamile, a Ghana in hope, and together we gather here this morning to renew that hope. The journey has not always been smooth. We have stumbled and often felt disappointed in ourselves. But we have never given up. There's resilience that defines the Ghanaian spirit still lives on. As your president, I pledge to serve with integrity, humility, and unwavering dedication to the welfare of our people. But Ghana's progress cannot rely solely on my leadership. It will depend on every citizen doing their part. Wherever you are, whatever you do your part with excellence. Do it for Ghana, do it for Africa, and do it for the generations yet unborn. Ladies,
Zed 101.9 FM. Zed 101.9 FM.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
May God bless our homeland Ghana and make our nation great and strong. Long live Ghana and long live African unity. I thank you.
Of the 69th Independence Anniversary Address. Thank you, Your Excellency.
All right, so that was President John Dramani Mahama delivering his Independence Day address at the Jubilee House. I'll spy down some of the key messages from that speech very, very soon.
The parade commander will now invite giving 3 hearty cheers to the President of the Republic of Ghana and Commander-in-Chief.
You can also drop a comment under our live stream on Facebook at ZFMGH and also on YouTube at Z Multimedia, and we'll read them to you. Now let's go straight to my colleague Rebecca, who is on the grounds at the Jubilee House. Rebecca, you've just listened to, you've just witnessed the president's address. What were some of the key moments, and how has the atmosphere been there?
Miss Evie, thank you once again. Like we all know that most of the time, since independence, all we have known is that Independence Day celebration will be at the Black Star Square, full contingent will march. The security forces will also come this place. But this year, and then I think last year and this year have not been as we have always known the Independence Day celebration to be. So today, there were nothing like full contingent marching past, saluting, standing under the sporting sun, some collapsing, as we have seen over the years. Today, security personnel that displayed but students did not march past, salute like they used to do. It was costly. And when we hit
the Forcing Sergeant Major.
Hello.
Chief Warrant Officer Ado Daniel was born in Kede in the Eastern region. He attended Infanta Secondary School in the Oti region for his ordinary level certificate and Kumasi Polytechnic for Royal Society of Arts Stage 3 accounting option. He holds a higher national diploma in accounting from the Society of Professional Stages. Chief Warrant Officer Ado Daniel also holds advanced certificate in industrial security business school and a Master of Arts in
I want us to focus briefly on the president's
management from the University of Professional Studies.
And maybe what was the crowd reaction during his address?
In 1996 and posted to for the infantry battalion in Kumasi until his current appointment as the Forces Sergeant Major of the Ghana Armed Forces. Chief Warrant Officer Ado Daniel has served with distinction as a machine gun warrant officer at the Army Combat Training School, the Regimental Sergeant Major for Ghana Battalion in the Democratic Republic of Congo Battalion, and Command Sergeant Major, Central Command Headquarters in Kumasi, and the Sergeant Major of the Ghana Army.
Somewhat down because each year we see a lot of students graduating from various sectors in the country. But the question has always been, where are these people going to? because he knows the caliber of the youth, he knows that
the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces.
Transform their lives.
His Excellency,
For you to come to knowledge.
President, Mahama.
Hey! About the 24-hour economy. Delivering the results that many about the team which is delivering prosperity for commitment to ensuring a stronger so that the ordinary Ghanaian like us would have hope in the country. We can wake up in and President also noticed that in rebuilding our country, the economy, stabilizing it will depend on us individual Ghanaians, and when we do, we can put the country where we all want to see the country. So it calls for renewed commitment to national unity. As a nation, we should not be focused on I am from here, this one is from here, whether political or ethical. But in all our activities, we should ensure that we are looking at what is going to deliver a better future.
What is the general atmosphere now as the session ended?
Yeah, so the president is done with his speech. The security forces are now marching to pass with their things. Yeah, so at the moment, everybody is seated with the security people or the security personnel marching to pass.
Okay, right. So we're going to come back to you so that you speak to some people. If you can get some of the people attendees of the celebration. I mean, students. If you can speak to some security officers or any other reports. I'll come back in studio now. Tina Moses is here. Tina Moses is a senior reporter here, as well as Presbyterian Rosemond Labi, who's also a senior reporter, and then Jeremy Okorie Amwako. Jeremy is host of Brighter Side on Zed 101.9 FM. What are some of the things that stood out for you the most?
Right. So he touched on the youth, and I believe that the youth is the backbone of building an economy. So he was so much enthused with the youth that he says he hears them, he listens to them. And we know the presidents, he vibes with this generation and all that. He knows what's happening, and so assuring the youth, like I said, inspiring hope and all that. He's just assuring the youth that we must be disciplined. And I like the fact that he touched on we being bigger than Ghana. Okay, so it's not like looking at it from a different perspective, but building a better Ghana where there's discipline in our schools, discipline in our finances, protecting the public purse and all that. But he talked about corruption. Corruption has been a canker in this country where everybody is talking about it from the days of Kwame Nkrumah and all that. But he touching on those things, I think for me, it's a good one. And then we need to, adhere to all that he has said. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So for you, it's the youth and also the issue about discipline.
Yes.
All right. Let me come to Presbyterian. Presbyterian, which one stood out for you?
I think maybe I should call Jeremy a prophetess, if I should, because she made mention of something the president touched on, that Ghana happens to be the first sub-Saharan African country to have gained independence. And once again, we'll see that Ghana will be out there as the first in everything. And so I think it means that the president really is listening and he's seen what is going on. Because now, when you go on social media, you get to see almost everything and what we are going through, because now we tend to channel our grievances via social media. So for that statement that he made, for me, I feel like, okay, then it means that we are getting there. Probably, if I should say, we are on track, and to make sure that we get to that stage. Yeah.
Okay, Jeremy, let me know what stood out for you as well.
Well, he made a quote, and I'm trying to find it. He says that independence, leadership requires responsibility. Independence gave us freedom, but leadership requires responsibility. Now, this tells me that although the independence has been won for us by, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, as he announced on the eve of 6th of March, 1957, moving forward, we cannot just hang on the thought that, oh, we are free. Though politically we are free, but economically, like Emmanuel said, there's a lot to be done. So I think that Ghanaians should not just bank on the fact that, oh, we are a free country, we are independent, so all is done, even in these days. So yeah, that's what stood out to me.
All right, okay. There were other things the president spoke about, and I'm shocked that none of you spoke about the corruption. It looks like you guys like the corruption in the country. But anyway, I mentioned the corruption. Right. So he spoke about that as well. And he says that not fighting corruption alone. That is, he's not fighting corruption alone, but he's also strengthening institutions. And we know that institutions are very, very important all over the world. There's been conversations around the need for strong institutions. I know with even President Obama and all of that, there are conversations around is it strong institutions or strong men, and the President says he's building or he's strengthening institutions there. Now, he says something about culture and integrity, and he says that we need a national culture of integrity. Do you think that is something that we are not seeing as a country? Praise Bill.
I think yesterday I was having a conversation with someone, and the person was saying that as a country, it looks like we've lost our sense of direction, because I don't know if it's our generation, or I think it was Tina Moses I was having that conversation with in the newsroom yesterday, and they were talking about that and all. Because now you cannot even just get up and talk to somebody, you get it, without not you being described as you being overly sentimental about something and that kind of thing. So I think we really are losing it. We really are losing it, and it will take some time. Anyway.
Tina Moses, what are your thoughts? Do you think that integrity is a problem in this country?
Yes, I believe that, and it cuts across. It cuts across in our institutions, in our churches, in our homes, everywhere we find ourselves. It looks like we are losing that integrity. You see, when you have integrity, you don't wait for somebody to tell you what is good or bad. You know what is right. You know what you're supposed to do. So for a country to be fighting corruption from years back and still fighting it, then it means that there's a lot we need to look at when it comes to integrity. It's a personal decision. It's a personal thing that you need to inculcate. When you have it, Charlie, I tell you, you would excel. You go places, and then it's about time that we talk about it. Yes, it helps reshaping our mindset and all that. Integrity is a top notch. If you have it, I don't think you would do that what people don't even expect you to do. Exactly. So I think we are losing it, and we need to go back and then address it.
Right, Jeremy, do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, I think we have the problem of corruption right now, primarily because there is no integrity. If there was integrity and most of our leaders had this, trait, then there would be no mention of corruption, because you would do what you know is right. The big thing, like Tina Moses said, is not just in the leadership positions. SS students are doing it. We know people who are paying money to. There was a story that came up when the WASSCE results were released, and how a girl wrote in the examination paper to the examiner, "I'm a girl, I'm a very beautiful girl." I remember she said, "I'm a very beautiful girl." So she didn't do well in the examination, but she's expecting the examiner to, correct and pass her. So this corruption thing is on every level. And if we are going to get rid of corruption, it has to start from our youth, it has to start from the young ones. And until that is done, it will continue to be a problem in this country.
That's true. Well, that's true. I mean, the issue about integrity is something that I've also seen. I think that everybody needs, in recent times, we've seen people who actually lost their money, the lack of integrity. I think one of the ways to be able to also strengthen that is to also make sure that we put out those who are actually doing the right things as well.
Right.
And I think that's something that will help us as a country. But I agree with you, Jeremy, when you talk about the fact that that is a lack of integrity that is actually making us see the level of corruption we are seeing as a country. Because if people had integrity, nobody pushing all of that into where drainage systems into gutters when it rains and all of these things. If we had a culture of integrity as a nation, I think that we would have to, we would be doing way better than that. And so I think this is something that we have to do. How do we do that? This is something that we have to do. How do we do that? Because I believe strongly that it's not just about the speeches. If you say, because I believe strongly that it's not just about the speeches. If you say let's encourage or let's create a culture of integrity, that is just one side of the whole thing. How to encourage or let's create a culture of integrity, that is just one side of the whole thing. How do we do it?
It's a personal thing. It's all about the mindsets. We need to tune our minds rightly.
Individually.
Yes.
Is that something we can do in a collective, for instance, maybe in our education system or something? Jeremy, you want to say something?
I was just saying it in passing, so we can use AI. But that's just by the way. And meted out on time, it serves as a deterrent to those who are even having just the thoughts of engaging in that activity. I think that that's the primary way, if not the only way. I think it will be one of the most effective ways to deal with it. Let's punish evil. Let's call it out for what it is. Let's not try to use words to, cushion the crime. If it's wrong, and it should face the due punishment. That's what I think.
And I think that's what the president spoke about in terms of the discipline. He spoke about the need to discipline that we do. And I think that's how we can
ethnicity, we should go beyond tribalism, we should go beyond partisanship. Everything is politicized in this country, whether health, whether education, things that needs not to be politicized. You see people politicizing things, and it's really drawing us back as a nation. So for that, I think that one will bring improvement to the nation. It's a good one there. We need to go beyond that. It's big. Ghana indeed is bigger than politics.
It's full support of what Tina Moses just said.
All right, great. We're going to go back to our colleague who has ended, and I've seen that the president has left, but we're going to pick her live reactions over there. And but one of the things that the president spoke about, I want to wrap up with
the youth for the opportunities ahead.
Why do you say we're not ready?
Well, because right now I feel like everybody, this is just a personal, personal thoughts. I feel that everybody is looking for easy ways to make it. And one of the ways we feel we can make it is by getting out of the country. So we have this very popular phrase on just jackpot from the country. The goal is just to make it out of Ghana. So if Ghana is the hell and, America is heaven, of course, you're doing very well. But I can access those opportunities by, building yourself up, building your skills up, then, countries. So there's a need for education. We are not there yet, but we can be.
Okay. Right. Prinzo, what are your reactions finally?
Ghana happens to be a nation that has 60% youthful population, and so If our youth is empowered, just like the president is saying, I think we would have a very good country, a very good economy, and all of that. We are lucky to have a very vibrant and ambitious youth, if I should say, because now in Ghana you find a youth always ready to learn something new, always ready to do something new. Away from the fact that they would want to travel out of the country, which yes has become a norm for some time now. Just they keep on saying that the grass is greener outside and all of that. But then I am of the notion that the grass is greener where you water it. So if you are watching it yourself, we also would want the government to inculcate us in their governance and everything. Open up factories, the schools, make it accessible, let everybody be able to afford it. When it happens like that, like I said before, we had to transition to go and take up the president's speech. Education happens to be one of the ways to curb poverty. Because when you have a very educated, youthful force, believe me, everybody knows that I want to do something for myself. I want to get there and all of that. If we are not doing something for our youthful population, it will be very hard for us to know that we want to get to where we want to get to. Because if even just 2 or 3 years away from today, imagine if the youth is involved in everything in this country, in decision making, in policy making and all of that. I feel that when it happens that way, we are able to get regulations or rules or policies that will go in favor of the youth. So they know that, okay, out of the university, I know that this is what I am going to do, or these are policies that are going to go in my favor, and the government is even aware of it, the government is interested in it and all of that. So for a 60% population country of youth, I think that it's in the right direction if the president is interested in the youth now, because I think, was it yesterday, Ikuafo Hall, the University of Ghana celebrated, they were launching their 70th anniversary, where you had a Deputy Minister for Food and Agriculture, John Domelo, in there talking, and then he was giving some data and all of that, and now you have a lot of youth venturing into agriculture. And if it is happening that way, I think it's a great one, because you now would want to rely on the white collar job. You know that agriculture is there, you have youth in agriculture, you have youth in poultry, you have, when it happens that way, you know that, okay, then this is a nation that has a vision, because you know that even in the next 10, in the next 20, the next 30 years, the nation is still going to ride on. So the president having us on, it's a very good and a great one.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Tina Moses is a senior reporter here at Z101.9 FM. Principal Rusmon Labi also is a senior reporter, and Jeremy Okoria Mwako is the host of Brighter Side. Ladies, thank you very much for your time, and I'm really grateful for sharing your thoughts with us this morning. All right, we're going to go back to the Jubilee House, where our colleague Rebecca is on standby to tell us exactly what is happening currently. I'm sure by now the whole session has ended. Rebecca. Hello, Rebecca. Yes. What is happening there now?
Well, at the moment, everybody has right now distracted by Jubilee House.
Rebecca, we're struggling to hear you. Maybe if you can position yourself better.
And then also, when he makes of the president's speech, what hope, renewed hope, he has a traditional ruler. So I have with me
and I represent Apple as traditional area.
As a traditional ruler, what form of hope have you brought in, especially when it comes to your people, the youth? What are you looking at to that this government, with all that they have said, would ensure that whatever policies they are putting in place are being achieved to ensure that your citizens, your people, would also be part of the prosperity that the president is talking about? What are your expectations of this government?
First of all, I have to greet the listeners for the great opportunity I have. Peace
downgrade because first it's international airport. His name is Accra. After some years, he came back to after a month that died on that one. Now they have come back to Accra. This shows that this government have a good wish up for Gambia people. And we, the Ghana rulers, we appreciate the effort because today we witnessed where the children came in, they came and displayed that this shows that we, the Gambia, we have the role to play as a people. And we are encouraging the president, as he said, and he has done it. And we are praying to our forefathers to give him more strength, give him more power to do the work as he asked us to do it. We have the blessing on him.
Thank you very much for your time.
Hello, Rebecca. Yes, I can hear you. Can you speak to some of the students and some of the other attendees that were there? The theme was building prosperity and restoring hope. And find out from them what stood out for them in the president's address. Hello, Rebecca? Yeah. Okay. All right, that's fine. So let us know if you find anybody or if you get anybody to speak to. All right. So that was Rebecca speaking to one of the attendees of the celebration, national celebration of the Independence Day at Jubilee House, and he was speaking to one of the traditional rulers. He's going to try and get us some other people to speak to, like students and other attendees who were there this morning. All right, so let us also hear your reactions. If you want to join the conversation, feel free to let us know what stood out for you in the president's address as well, and whether today's message resonates with you. Has your hope been restored in any way? Feel free to send us a WhatsApp on 0544321019, 0544321019. Or you can call us on 030395661, 030395661. And we would love to hear from you. Also, you can drop a comment on our live stream. We are on Facebook at ZFMGH and on YouTube at Z Multimedia. This is Z101.9 FM, and this is your live coverage of the Independence Day celebration right here on Z101.9 FM. So let us know. We want to hear from you. We're going to go back to Rebecca shortly, and then we get to hear from her if she has some people to actually speak to. And so let us hear from you. Feel free to drop us your send us your message. Now I have a message coming here, and this is from Samuel from Ashaman. Says that great speech by the president. Glad the youth were mentioned. All right, thank you very much, Samuel, for sending that message. Also, this one is from George. George says that I like the part about corruption. Well, all right, so thank you very much, George, for sending that as well. Now, I've been joined in studio now by Emmanuel Boateng, who is our in-house economic analyst, and he's going to also share his reaction with us from the president's speech. Ima. Yeah. So let us know what stood out for you in the president's speech.
Yeah, thank you. Good to be back here. Yeah, well, for me, I think I would want to directly quote the president, and I have with me here something that he did say, and that I think should be the point where perhaps I should start from. The president said, "I'm pleased to announce once again that I have assented to the 24-hour Economy Authority Bill, and it is now law." Literally, this is a major economic transformation. I think that we will now roll out, I'm still quoting him, the incentives we have for businesses that are ready to extend the operating hours to 24 hours, optimize national productivity, and create hundreds of thousands of jobs.
What was your reaction?
My reaction was, of course, like I told you, I didn't expect the president to go over what he did say in Parliament a few weeks ago. But this has implication for broader economic context. You know, he tied that to our independence. I mean, I saw him mentioning our former president and what each of them has contributed to this economy. But GDP growth, he highlighted that Ghana now among the top 10 largest economies in Africa. I don't think the world will do in Africa. And literally, if 24-hour economy should work, not that I have doubts about it, I'm only saying if it should work, then I think it's big for this economy. And every single business person should see that as an opportunity. Of course, I've heard the arguments on the downsides. Do we have full security? Do we have power in terms of energy to be able to keep our lights on 24 hours a day, among other things? But, you know, if the economy operates at that scale, I think that is an opportunity for every single business person to tap into that. He highlighted our victory over inflation, our victory on our debt, fuel prices, among other things, the strength of the city, our reserves, and many others. In fact, he even touched on poverty, job creation, among other things. So for me, I think generally the president has done well to show us where we've come from, back from the SONA up until today, showing us the firm commitment of Ghana beyond, of the government beyond this point. And for me, I think generally my reaction is fair. Right. I think I like the sound of that. I am just not too much into what the president has said, but more into what our response should be to where the economy is headed. Because this is a policy direction. And once it is law now, we want to see what they will do. I think we should keep them to their toes. We should exact the right accountability from that. It's an authority, right? Yeah. So we should exact the right accountability from them. And once that is operational as a businessman, you need to be able to tap into that opportunity. Otherwise, I think you'll be left behind while every other thing moves on forward.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Emmanuel. So let me wrap up with Rebecca, who is still on ground. She's going to engage a few other people. Rebecca, are you still with us?
Yes.
All right. Great. So tell us.
It's me, Mr. Adam Afari from the Ministry of Foreign. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Rebecca.
This is Zed. 9FM. Please.
Hello.
President's speech today. He didn't. Yes, we all have a role to play. What do you think we should do as individuals, especially as your ministry that oversees? Okay, I think.
President was inspiring all of us as Ghanaians, to come together, work together, because his leadership alone will not be enough. Even if he offers a policy direction or policy directive, and the rest of us decide not to implementing or executing that policy, it will all of us nowhere. So I think that he was just inspiring that we all need to come together to build. Even the research agenda that he's talking about, for him, it's meant for every individual citizen called a Ghanaian to contribute his quota to ensure that at the end of the day, we'll be able to help the government to achieve our economic. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Damke. Okay, so Nick Trevi, that was Mr. Damke Afari. He is in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And so, he is trying to say that the president's research agenda is for us, not for the government. So it means that we all have our individual roles to play to ensure that the government has always been preaching about comes to fruition.
Right. Do you have some other people you'd be talking to? Hello, Rebecca? Hello? Okay, I think I lost Rebecca there, but our time is also up and we have to go. Right, so this has been our live coverage. I mean, as we draw the curtains on our special coverage of Ghana's Independence Day celebration, I think that we reflect on the journey of our nation, which is a journey of resilience, sacrifice, and enduring hope. And for me, today's ceremony at the Jubilee House once again reminds us of the vision and the courage that actually gave birth to our independence, and the responsibility that rests on each generation to build a stronger and more united Ghana. And if you listen to the president's words very well, you get that the sense that this is actually something that we have to do in a collective. It's not the fact that we have to hold our leaders accountable alone, but we also, as Ghanaian people, we have a role to play, whether it is in your own little way. And the president says something that in his speech that I think I want to just mention. And he says that we need a national culture of integrity, which we spoke about a while ago. But he also says that true patriotism must be shown through our daily lives. So that is what it means. All of us must contribute our quota. There were people that actually gave their lives away. They sacrificed for this particular country to get us where we are today. 69 years on, what has been your contribution? And that's my question to you. What has been your contribution to the development of this country? Are you tearing down things that we are trying to build? Are you contributing in a meaningful way? Those are some of the. All right. So yes, I said we're wrapping up, but my colleague Rebecca has YouTuber Udemaya on the line, and so let's just hear from him quickly, and then we can go. Rebecca. Hello. Hello, Rebecca. Hello. Okay. We're struggling to get here. Rebecca, are you with us? Hello? Hello, Rebecca. All right. So we're not getting. Okay, I think we have it now. Hello? Yes. Rebecca.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
You can hear me. Okay, but okay. So now I have what Maya here with me. He recently received a diplomatic passport, and so we know that he can do a lot with that. So I want us to have a short conversation with him to also understand what he thinks about what our country is seeing right now, especially in terms of the creative art industry. Good morning, sir, and thank you for the opportunity to speak with us today.
Good afternoon.
You have to help me with this.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Udemaya. Hello. Yes, Udemaya. Thank you very much. This is Z101.9 FM. Can you hear us? Hello. Hello.
Hello. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but I can't hear Udemaya.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes, Udemaya. So, first of all, tell us what's your general reaction of the president's speech?
I think the general reaction for me is such an incredible speech. The fact that the president also tackled creative economy in Ghana. He emphasized that if you have a phone, know that you're an entrepreneur. If you have a phone, know that you can actually create business right from your phone. And knowing that the president actually knows that is incredible to hear.
Awesome. I mean, you are a YouTuber and you've been doing a lot of things internationally. So do you feel part of the message the president gave to Ghanaians?
100%. The fact that the creatives in this country were never left out of the speech of the president, it means that the president thinks about everyone.
All right.
As a YouTuber, I fall under creative economy. So he included us in his speech, and I was clapping at that particular moment. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's move away from the president's speech. I mean, you are a big man, and we want to hear your reaction. What does Independence Day really mean to you personally?
So can you come again?
Yeah, I'm asking, what does Independence Day mean to you personally?
Independence Day, to me, it's more like freedom for the people, but I'm just hoping that one day Ghana will have economic freedom. So if you check my post all the time, I don't say Happy Independence Day to Ghana. I always say Happy Political Independence, and hoping that Ghana will one day attain economic independence.
Right. So you think that we don't have economic independence?
100%. You don't know that?
I'm asking you.
We depend on the West to survive. We depend on people to survive. So for now, we just have political independence, not economic independence. The day Ghana will start feeding itself, the day money comes from Ghana to develop Ghana, that means that we are ready to talk about independence. But for me, now it's just more of we gain independence from the West, which was more like political. This is what Nkrumah wanted to do, because industrialization, so that we produce everything by ourselves. How many things do we produce in this country?
Right, that's a big question. And I know you represent the Ghanaian people. Most of the times you wear your batakari and all of that. What do you make of the president's appearance today? Do you think you could have done something else away from the fugu?
No way, because this is the best time for fugu. I'm actually wearing fugu right now. This is what I call the fugu independence. So everyone in here is wearing fugu, and it's so beautiful to see that. I mean, what was supposed to be a mockery has now turned into be a celebration for the people of Ghana, rocking their national attire, confidently and proudly. It makes me even feel so proud to be a Ghanaian. Because when it comes to this instance, there's nothing like tribal in here. We are all one Ghana.
2 more questions, then we go. Now, don't you think the president could have actually used this to promote another attire in Ghana, say Kente or something?
No, because at the moment, the spotlight is on fugu. So I guess this is the best time to, emphasize that this is indeed a national attire. If you ask me, I would be so happy if you make fugu a national attire for the country. If you ever ask me. Because right now, fugu is not just trending in Zambia, it's trending the whole of Africa. I was actually in Cape Verde. I just got back last night, and people were asking me if I brought fugu to Cape Verde.
Right. Okay. Anyway, so what message would you like leaders to actually take from today's celebration, or what will be your message to the Ghanaian people and also our leaders?
To the beautiful people of Ghana, let's stay united and help the Ghana that we all want.
All right. Thank you very much, Udemaya. Really grateful that you spoke to us this morning. All right, Rebecca. So thank you very much too for the report. We are really grateful, and we'll wrap up in studio now. All right, so that was YouTuber Udemaya. We just spoke to, who is at the Jubilee House. Our colleague gave us that access to be able to speak to him. Our colleague Rebecca did that. And so, yes, I was wrapping up before we had to go to Udemaya. So I was saying that there's a lot in the president's speech, and it calls for a collective effort to build this country. And you and I, if you're listening to me this morning, you have a role to play. I also do. 70 years ago, our forebears actually declared the world that Ghana was free forever. And that declaration continues to challenge us today to deepen our democracy, to strengthen our institutions and support one another, and also work collectively for the progress of our country. And so to all Ghanaians at home and in the diaspora, this day is a reminder that the future of Ghana is not only in the hands of leaders, but in the everyday actions of citizens who actually believe in the promise of this country. And so on behalf of the entire production team, with support from our general manager and our reporters on ground and all our guests who joined us, the historian who joined us, thank you very much for staying with us throughout this special broadcast. We're back again for other shows and other. We have quite a number of shows still that are coming up today, and so please keep stay tuned into Zed 101.9 FM, and until then, please enjoy the Independence Day, but do that safely. My name is Nitrebi Hammond, and thank you very much for being with us.
tuned in to Zed 101.9 FM, your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.